In the last 5 years, Nvidia's stock price has exploded from $33 per share up to $882 per share as of this recording. Now, understandably, some investors feel like they missed out on Nvidia stock, like it's too late to buy Nvidia stock. Now, I don't agree with that statement. I think it's not too late to buy Nvidia stock, and I think even at current prices, Nvidia stock is a good investment. But if you feel like you missed out on Nvidia stock, I've got one spectacular AI stock you can buy instead that I'm going to share with you in this video. So let's jump right in.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
Just look at that phenomenal chart for Nvidia's stock price in the last 5 years. I've drawn out the low price here at $33.45. And from that price level, it's exploded up to $881 per share for a remarkable rate of return, even after the brief and small dip here in recent days. So it's understandable. I get it. You don't want to feel like you're buying a stock at the highest high of the valuation. Of course, the saying goes, buy low and sell high. You don't want to buy high and sell low. I understand all those things, but if you think about Nvidia stock in terms of a valuation in what you're getting in return for what you're paying, Nvidia gives you so much more today than it gave you 5 years ago that it's still a good value. Regardless, I know I promised I'm going to discuss another stock you can buy instead of Nvidia that's going to capitalize on this growing effectiveness of artificial intelligence. And that stock is Broadcom. Broadcom is accelerating its AI revenue as a percentage of overall revenue. You can see in this chart here how much that's accelerating. In 2023, roughly 15% of Broadcom's revenue as a percentage of its semiconductor solutions was AI related. In 2024, it expects that to more than double to 35%. And its fiscal 2024 target for that is over 10 billion now. So you're starting to see the beginnings of an AI surge for Broadcom, which was already an excellent company heading into this growing effectiveness of artificial intelligence. It was already a great business, and now it's accelerating due to the rising effectiveness of AI. So if you feel like you missed out, this is a good alternative choice here. Now, I mentioned that Broadcom's business was already excellent, and I'll share with you three critical metrics here. Its operating profit margin over the trailing 12 months in the last decade has expanded all the way up to 38.7%. Its cash flow from operations to sales has increased from 24%, more than doubled, to 48.54%. That means $48 out of every 100 in sales turns into cash flow. That's really, really strong. That's among the best in class of any business, let alone the semiconductor company. And finally, revenue growth is accelerating. You can see revenue growth here. And the big jumps up and down are due to acquisitions and divestitures. And then you see a big jump here, 34% revenue in its latest quarter. So you're starting to see those benefits from the rising effectiveness in AI. And the business was already strong to begin with. If you consider its next 5 years, the analysts on Wall Street that are following Broadcom stock, they think it's going to grow its earnings per share by 14.4% over the next 5 years. In the current year, they think it's going to grow by 11%, and they think it's going to accelerate up to 14.4% over the next 5 years on average each year. So it's got an excellent history of demonstrating strong profitability. I showed you the operating profit margin, the cash flow from operations, and it's got excellent prospects as analysts on Wall Street expect it to deliver 14.4% earnings per share growth over the next 5 years, which is roughly 30% above what the analysts on Wall Street are expecting the average stock in the S&P 500 to deliver. So it's going to grow faster than the S&P 500 on the bottom line over the next 5 years. So understandably, if you feel like you missed out on Nvidia stock trading at $881 per share, exploding higher from $33 per share, and you feel like you want to get into another stock that could benefit, Broadcom is a good choice. And of course, the valuation is not too expensive either. It's trading at a forward PE of 23.33, which is reasonable considering its excellent prospects going forward. It's slightly more expensive than the average stock in the S&P 500, which is trading at a forward PE of around 17 to 20. So at 23, it's slightly more expensive, but it's also got better prospects than the S&P 500, right? So you could see here, it's expected to grow at 14.4% EPS, whereas the S&P 500, the average stock, is expected to grow by 11.09%. So you're getting roughly 3.5% more growth, or 3.3% more growth in EPS compared to the S&P 500, which is about a little above 25% more growth. So it's reasonable to pay a little bit above the average valuation for Broadcom stock. And especially because of its history of delivering profit margins and cash flow from operations in a category that puts itself in the best in class of many businesses in the world, especially its cash flow from operations, operating profit margin at 38.7%. So I like Broadcom stock as an option if you feel like Nvidia is overvalued. Now, I'll remind you, I don't think Nvidia is overvalued. And in a head-to-head comparison, if I look at Nvidia stock versus Broadcom stock, I would choose Nvidia stock going forward. But if you feel that Nvidia is overvalued and you feel like it's too late to buy Nvidia stock, then Broadcom is a good choice too. Or maybe you already own Nvidia stock and you want to diversify away from Nvidia stock and you want to get something else that's going to capitalize on the growing effectiveness of AI, Broadcom is a good choice there too. So a good choice here for investors, and many good choices in the AI space for investors, given that the category is growing so quickly and has so much runway for growth. Remember, according to estimates, the AI industry is expected to grow from roughly 200 billion in 2023 all the way up to 1.8 trillion in 2030. So in that short time span, more than 1 trillion of increased spending is going to go towards artificial intelligence in the next few years. So there are going to be many winners in that category. Nvidia is already a major winner, as you saw earlier, but there's going to be several winners in the AI category. Broadcom has a good probability of being one of those winners in the AI category. Nvidia is already a winner in that category, and I think it's going to continue to be a winner in that category for several years to come. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.